Hello, welcome to Last Bowl Boxing. Quick reminder to like, comment, and subscribe. Joined this evening by Sean. How you doing, Sean?
Yep, all good, thank you, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Yeah, nice FA Cup run for us this year. So yeah, I'm enjoying the run. Okay, Matchroom just announced a 5-year extension to their deal with DAZN. I think this is quite a ballsy decision. I know there's a lot of respect between the two brands, and Matchroom really did support DAZN in growing, didn't they? They was the first one to jump over. A lot of people, including Frank Warren, let's be honest, and he's been honest about it, thought it was just an app that would die within a year. Interesting though, because Netflix are coming up on the rails, aren't they? And it'll be interesting to see whether they start having more regular shows rather than handpicking the big fights throughout the year. But there's definite competition for the zone. So, give us your thoughts, Sean. Obviously, Eddie Hearn's talking about 50 fight nights a year. 200, that makes, in my maths, that makes 250 over a 5-year deal. Big numbers. He talks about having a stable of over 100 fighters. He calls him the biggest talented stable in the world. I'll agree with him because I'm hoping to get an interview with him tomorrow. That's shameless, isn't it? But I've said it. So give us your thoughts, Sean. Good deal, bad deal? Time will tell. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think on the face of it, it's a good deal. It's obviously DAZN showing Matchroom the loyalty they paid them by going with them in the first place and leaving Sky. So I think it is a good deal. I mean, I know certain quarters of boxing media, if we want to call ourselves that, they're quite anti DAZN, and anything they do, they'll slag them off just for the case of it seems.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's a really good deal. I mean, DAZN's quite accessible now, isn't it? Compared to when it first started, you can get it anywhere, any device. Good advert for them there. But no, I think it's a good deal. I think, yeah, Matchroom have got one of the biggest promotional stables in boxing, let's be honest, even if it may not be quite the best, as Eddie says. It's right up there, and overall their shows are very watchable. So I think it's a good news for us fight fans.
It's quite an interesting announcement, though, if you look at it from both sides of the fence. So you've got DAZN, and I'm acting all grown up here tonight, Sean. So DAZN, they like to nail Matchroom down because you got, dare I say, Netflix coming up on the horizon, who may well have wanted to strike a deal with Matchroom should they want to get more involved in the fight game and more regular fight nights. But then from a Matchroom perspective, 5 years is a long time, Ryan. I do wonder as we get into year 2 and 3 if Netflix have increased their percentage of fight nights and pumping more money into boxing, whether it will look a good deal. Because let me give you a scenario. Frank Warren's exclusively signed to DAZN via Queensborough, yet Tyson Fury, who's one of his biggest assets, is fighting on Netflix.
Mm.
So is it worth the paper it's written on? And as we head towards year 2 and 3, it might start to not be in as good a deal as I thought, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's definitely give and take with these things, isn't there? I mean, I'm sure they've probably got things in the contract to allow fighters to take opportunities if they arise and work with DAZN. Let's not forget AJ's already fought on Netflix as well. So yeah, I mean, yeah, who knows what will happen in the future, as you say, well, when you get to sort of halfway through their contract. But as of today and now, I think it's a good move. I think Netflix, it is interesting and it's poignant that you brought it up because they've obviously got some kind of relationship with Matchroom already with the documentary they made. So they've obviously got some kind of dialogue with them already. But I think it's probably Matchroom trying to show loyalty to DAZN as well as the other way around as well.
Yeah, and also you got Super Boxing coming up on the rails. Let's have it right. The product's horrendous at the minute. People trying to convince me that Callum Walsh is the next Canelo Alvarez. But they're only going to get better. Obviously, Super Boxing is owned by TKO. TKO is predominantly owned, I believe, by a seller. And we all know who the major stakeholder in seller is, which would be Turkey Al Sheikh. So that's an interesting dynamic, isn't it? 'Cause we all know, allegedly as well, I understand Turk has a stake in DAZN. I believe that's in the public domain, a stake. So it'll be interesting, won't it? Because he could well have two dogs in the race.
Yeah, I mean
There's a lot to work through there, but yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, isn't there? I mean, obviously, Turkey knows what he's doing in the grand scheme of things, it seems, or to date. But I wonder if there'll be some kind of amalgamation between Netflix and DAZN in the future. Maybe Netflix buy DAZN. I mean, that's not beyond the around a possibility, and it just becomes one big sort of super powerhouse for streaming, for sports. I could foresee that happening, to be honest.
The way the Paramount Plus slot into that, then, Sean.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, we've already seen it over here. I don't know if you've seen, but it seems TNT Sports over here is turning into HBO, or HBO have got something to do with it. So these big networks, they aren't going away. So it'd be interesting to see in 5 years. I mean, a lot can change. There could be a new version of Netflix we've never heard of out by then. So it'd be interesting to see what happens, and it's obviously one to keep our eye on.
I've got one theory here, and you know, I've got to remember that I'm going to be in amongst a Matchroom lot all week at Lee Wood, Warrington. But I think this may be Eddie Hearn's exit route. I think these next 5 years could well see Eddie Hearn float a lot more Matchroom on, and you know, and almost get out of there, right? Get his money and run.
Yeah, I mean, he's always said, isn't he, that he will leave the sport by a certain age. I mean, I think he's around 45 now, isn't he? And he said he wants to be...
He's my age, Sean, so he's 46 going on 47.
Right, okay. Yeah, well, you're both a lot younger than the number suggests, I would say. But with that, I would say that potentially he'll be lining up Frank Smith. I mean, we've seen Frank do more and more. Who would ever thought he would be on the TalkSport YouTube boxing channel doing the podcast there? So potentially it's Eddie Hearn's exit, and we'll see Frank become more prominent in the sort of promotions and the head of the boxing side.
And if they did want to go up against Netflix, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that Turkey Al-Sheikh buys Matchroom outright.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've probably had loose conversations of that already. When we saw the documentary, seemed like Turkey and Barry Hearn were having those sort of linger discussions. So that's not beyond the realms. I mean, who knows? Turkey may buy Queensberry and Matchroom and just monopolise the whole of the sport eventually. Yeah. I'm sure that's probably on his radar at some stage.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he could bring suffering via the back door to almost create a UFC style platform that they're trying to adopt now. Let's have it right, Sean. At the minute, nobody really cares about suffer boxing, right? And the belts that they created and things like that. I know they signed Jai Opataya, but my understanding is they're going to allow him to fight for the traditional belt. So I know he's switching a bit, but suffer boxing is going to be a good product. I don't doubt that, because Dana White's very, very good at what he does. But I just think he needs to understand the landscape a little bit more about the boxing world rather than the UFC world.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not totally sold on that. I don't think that boxing will be sort of a powerhouse for them, because we've seen him tread into other sports already. I don't know if you've paid much credit or watched that power slap that he promotes at all.
Seen bits of it, horrendous.
Yeah, so I don't know if he will take to boxing like we all think he will, how he's done the UFC. When you compare power slaps, probably closer to boxing, I would say, than the UFC in a way. And that seemed to have fallen on its backside. So I'm really intrigued to see what happens with Suffer and how Dana sort of manoeuvres everything.
It is good to see Eddie back swinging at other promoters, though, isn't it? Because obviously it used to be him and Frank Warren going at it, and now they're holding hands singing "Come By Half" for the moment. him and Dana, it's warming up quite nice. I know Dana White, I hadn't listened to him, but I suppose he made a few personal comments about Eddie Hearn's vision recently. So Eddie's got that bit between his teeth again. He does love a good verbal scrap, don't he?
Yeah, I haven't seen too much of what he said, but I saw in a clip where he said that Eddie's not done anything by himself and it's all his dad. So just rehearsing what Oscar said a few years ago, essentially. But it'd be interesting to see between the two because only a few weeks ago they were saying what good pals they were.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what kind of divide it causes and how that shakes up the landscape.
Yep. Okay, that's mine and Sean's view on all things Matchroom and the new announcement regarding the 5-year deal with DAZN. Keep an eye out on the channel this week for reviews and interviews from the Lee Wood Josh Warrington fight week that I'll be at all week, probably in the divorce courts by Sunday. This has been Last World Boxing, proudly sponsored by Shaw's Building Service and SC Travel. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Cheers, Sean.